Alright, hey everybody, it's March the 31st, 2014. This video is not going to go over 15 minutes. It may only go 10, but man, where to start? Shoot. Well, one of the things I can start off talking about today is there was a shooting in Albuquerque, New Mexico, where a homeless guy was out there and they had him turn around and said, "Put your hands up," and as he's turning around and put his hands up, he was shot in the back, and he's supposedly been put on leave, paid leave. I don't know why anybody's paying him anything, because he's got a dash cam helmet that shows you exactly, or helmet cam that shows you exactly what happened out there, and he has nothing coming to it other than a prison sentence. And you know, you take a job like that, you know, where you have an opportunity to put a trigger on somebody and accidentally pull it. You need to be willing to take the consequences that go with that. You know, there's a lot of people who go to work every day and don't survive. You know, I've met a guy who saw an oil worker. I haven't spent a lot of time in the oil field, but one of the first things that happened when he got out there, he saw somebody fall into a pit of rocks and swallowed him up, and he died. And you know, that's part of the risks you take. You know what I mean? But I don't think that was an accident. You know, I don't think that was I kind of got excited and just pulled my trigger type of deal. The dude's turning around with his hands in the air, you know, and is shot in the back. And then the sorry corrupt cop chief comes in to defend it. And listen here, we had a protest that lasted for 10 hours. About 500 people showed up. They all should have showed up with guns and just start shooting. Because that's the only thing these people are going to understand is death. And that's what they got coming, is a whole bunch of death. I mean, I think we ought to figure out who these individuals are and kill all of them. So if you ask me if I'm calling for violence, the answer is yes. And if you're asking me if I'm asking you to go hunt these people down and kill them, the answer is yes. And so, you know, the point of the story is that it's just a freaking nightmare out there. It's a nightmare, man. And it reminds me of a quote I heard of. It was either Lenin or Stalin, or I can't remember exactly, but he said, one person's a tragedy, a million is a statistic. And right now, 10,000 people are dying as a result of drug prohibition every single year. Okay? Over 10,000 people are dying as a result of that. And I don't know what the exact numbers are anymore. It's hard to say. We do have some shreds left of good. Some people say, "Oh, we got some shreds of democracy left." You better hope we don't have any shreds of democracy left. Because if we had a shred of democracy left, just look at the bumper stickers. This place will flush itself down the toilet faster than a black hole. And it's not a democracy. Okay? That's the most ignorant remark I've ever heard. And it's gone and is repeated constantly. The founders warned against democracy and drafted this specifically not as a democracy. And that doesn't mean to say that you have no rights or no say or no ability to put things in your direction, but as a republic, you have rights. You don't have the authority to vote away those rights, because you will. And this is the only form of government that's ever lasted with any type of success at all, which nothing has ever happened, but it's just collapsed for 1,000 years, but at least it lasted for 1,000 years in the Roman time period. And so, man, you know, if you, John Q. Public out there, had to protect your own rights, we'd all be screwed, because you have no earthly idea what's going on. You don't even know what the Constitution is. You think that there's two parties and that you're a part of something and that that's who your identity is. I mean, you're so far removed from reality. By the time I get it all hammered down and figure out what exactly is going on with you, people will think something's wrong with me because I'm not going to be making any sense. You understand? Because your thought processes aren't logical. And anyways, the point of the story is you got problems. Okay, you actually believe that that's who you are. You know what I mean? Like, Like, the Green Lantern's the Green Lantern, and Spider-Man is really Spider-Man, but you're a human, but you're really a Democrat, you know what I mean? Or you're really a Republican, or that's who you are, you know? Oh, Democrat, a Republican. My whole family was a Republican, and let me tell you something, boy, I was a Republican back then. I mean, you just couldn't believe how long this shit goes on. You can actually sit there and let me tell you something, and you know, about the Republican Party, and I mean, dude, I don't care how many generations of your family has voted for Republicans or not. That does not impress me in the slightest bit. Nor does it impress me about your level of intelligentsia to have to sit here and stomach this conversation while you sit there and go on, insulting your intelligence and mine for even sitting here listening to your stupid ass. Excuse me. Anyways, I guarantee you, man, this society is a degenerate's paradise. And all they've done is taken all the narcissistic, imperious narcissistic weasels and losers and just empowered them. And they're everywhere. I mean, they're everywhere. You know, it's painful. You know what I mean? And I've landed myself in situations financially where I'm kind of at the behest of these individuals, and they just keep tightening screws down. And I can't even really get into it, because if I was to even make a video about that, I'd be talking about that all night long, you know? But needless to say, this society is getting what it deserves. And all you individuals that go around there having these little imperious trips and psychological, you know, fantasy worlds that you're living in, you're getting what you got coming. Trust me. Because there's people that are getting enslaved left and right. You're going to end up being one of them. You're going to lose everything. And then you're not going to be smiling anymore. So, I mean, you're living in an enslaved society. You're perpetuating it. You pretend to love it, and you're going to lose it all. You're going to lose it all to inflation, trying to pay for it, trying to pay to house and enslave all these individuals so you can feel narcissistically superior to them. You suck! And, I mean, dude, there's monsters all around me. I mean, monstrosities. It's hard for me not to even talk about it, because they've screwed me out of so many thousands of dollars. I mean, people coming out of the woodwork, you know what I mean? Getting into our family business, and then working people against us from the beginning and moment that they walk in the door. And then this dude, I was sitting there trying to convert him for about 6 months and finally gave up. Like, dude, man, you got a 5-year-old son. Why don't you sit there and sign on to something besides just pretending that you're a Democrat? Because this is, and it's not, oh, you know, those Democrats, they're the ones causing us problems in life. I mean, I can just feel the sycophantic behavior just coming up right now. No, you're all stupid. No, what I was trying to say is, oh man, this is why I don't even like talking about it, because this is on the forefront of my mind, because these are people who are screwing my life over. These are people who are taking my money and screwing it over. And, you know, it's coming around. It's coming around. Finally. And, but it hasn't finished coming around yet. But I mean, I've lost everything to enslaving and mass murder. You know, we got more people in prison than China. And anyways, you know, oh man. And I try to sit there and tell the dude, and he sits there and just won't change. And then we get down the road. And then so the other day he's telling me, because he's, you know, believes that he's a part of something. And then he tells me, oh yeah, Eric Holder and Obama are trying to change that war on drugs deal. And it's like, and the dude found out, I know how he found out, because they don't even tell this in the mainstream news. He went through my videos on YouTube and found out that way. And so now he's gone through my research and my presentation to the world of what's going on, and regurgitated it back to me. And whenever things were bad and Obama had 3 times more people in prison for federal persecutions on those subjects after he was elected, then it still wasn't enough to change his allegiance to the tyrannical dictator. And and here I am, actually making videos on the internet, actually telling the world, you know, what's actually going on, and fighting this. And I probably published about 20 or 30 or 40 videos before that actually started to change. And then would sit there and read through the statistics every day. I may have been one of the main people who got that changed. You know what I mean? And see, here this person is who seriously sat there and screwed my life over so many different ways. And I've published probably, 500 to 1,000 answers on Yahoo Answers about, of 150 lines of statistical information and quotes, and on drug prohibition, from Albert Einstein, etc. And then sat there and did the diligent research and then have it thrown in my face. And I'm the one sitting here fighting this tooth and nail, probably getting it changed. So millions of people don't have to be enslaved. It wasn't good enough for you. But you're going to sit here and pretend. You see what I mean? And rub it in my face that you know what's going on. And you were always in the right when people were getting enslaved and mass murdered like crazy over this crap. So your identity could be in check. And that's just a small problem. I mean, the dude literally, that's not even my biggest problem. The problem is that's who he is, but I mean, literally, it's a long story, man. I can't go into it. But anyway, so we have this guy, George P. Bush. I did an entire video on this. It was 45 minutes long. And once I get into this stuff, I'm going to do another video about it. So if you're watching me on that channel, there's people who showed up and actually started talking to me about this stuff. And I thank you, okay? Because if it wasn't for that, I would lose my mind. But, no, the thing is okay, because these people screw me so bad. But we got a guy coming up right now who is George P. Bush, the Hispanic grandson of Prescott Bush or whatever, maybe great grandson, I don't know. But either ways, the guy has showed up out of nowhere, and it's just an insult to everybody's intelligence, is what it is. I mean, the guy's grandfather was indicted by the United States government for laundering Nazi drug money. I mean, and it wasn't. I mean, the shipping line, the Harriman shipping line that he was president of, was whenever 200,000 to 300,000 brown shirts showed up, he propagandized against the German government so that it couldn't be broken up. So that's how we have Hitler. It was because of him. He was actually financing him, building him up, propagandizing for him, so that we could all have mass extermination in the United States, so one guy could feel a little bit of power over some people, or a handful of people. And he was one of the main ones. So in order for him to feel that power, millions and millions of people got to die, going into showers, and the way they exterminate these people is sometimes poisonous gas comes out of the shower heads, sometimes water. Can you imagine how you would feel being drugged through that with your family? You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, the screams and stuff of people you care about, in agonizing pain, slowly dying. And here's this little piece of here's this little piece of crap that shows up, his grandson, and somebody confronts him in a restaurant and says, "I'd love to see any evidence of that." Bro, it's in the congressional record. Okay, we got the evidence. Okay, try the Dickstein-McCormick committee for one. Your grandfather actually tried to overthrow the United States and install extermination camps in this country. How about indicted for laundering Nazi funds? The German government itself came out and said the Harriman shipping line is working against us. We can't get Hitler off of us. We want him off. I mean, this is a German republic that was established over there. Pretty good country, had the first televisions, had the first microchips. There's a lot of evidence that they did give the plutonium, uranium needed to the United States to do an atomic bomb. Read that in the book Rise of the Fourth Reich. I think it was the USS Indianapolis, if I'm not mistaken. And it was a general on board went in to the National Archives to get that transaction that it occurred, and it wasn't in the record, and so he went underneath that ship's record and found it for $5. piece of microfilm. Either way. It's just unrealistic. It's just unrealistic. And, you know, I mean, all the giddiness and absorbing and soaking in all this propaganda and you know, it just leaves me beside myself. You know what I mean? And it's really unfortunate because I really didn't even want to go into it. But, I mean, these people, man, have tried to check me into a mental institution. Literally, the dude I just told you about tried to check me into a mental institution. And he still has a job with my dad. Well, here's the reason why. Because my dad's wife destroyed all our family heirlooms. And then I had to sit there and pretend like I liked it. And I didn't. And so they turned on me real hard. All she's got to do is turn on his family, and he's all for it. All she's got to do is throw away the family heirlooms, and he lets her get away with it. And so, I mean, when you caught somebody in triplicate, that's why I sit here, you know, dude. And then the dude's sitting there like, I mean, every single time he gets a chance. And I finally told him, look, I got my business going again. And it did have something to do with my dad's business. I mean, not initially, you know. Well, initially I think I did get some jobs out there. But I got a bunch of loans pulled out for my business. Started making money. And, you know, went into enslavement, you know, over something had to do with pot. And was enslaved for mass murder. So I just want to give a shout out to Probation Officer Tanya Frymark and just say thank you, Tanya Frymark, for making sure that my life fell apart and I lost everything. Thank you. Now I'm sitting here complaining about the narcissistic, imperious jackasses that are ruining my life today. But it was really your fault. Thanks. You know, if you weren't a serial divorcee who took that job so you could get over on men, then I wouldn't have lost everything, you know? I wouldn't be in the position I'm in today if it weren't for you. You didn't have to do all that. You didn't have to act as an enslavement operator. It doesn't make it okay. Just because it's going on a million times doesn't mean it's alright. Just because Nazi Germany exterminated 10 million people didn't make it okay after they got through 3 million. And they just sat there and called and had tried to turn me into a mental institution. And the doors were locked on the inside and said, it's fine, Tanner, just go in anyway. I said, no, thanks. I don't think I will. This dude, I was in Oklahoma, got arrested and enslaved up there. They came in, swooped in, took me to a rehab, a 2-year rehab. And I sit down there for about 3 or 4 days till the giddiness just gets to me. And then I just start walking off and walk 30 miles on a broken foot and manage to get back in Dallas some wayward way and some haphazard way and sleeping in ditches. I get back in Dallas, the dude's like, let me just try to help you out. I know a way we can help you out. And then he takes me to this psychologist, and I walk in one night and he's on the phone with the dude going, oh, so you're saying he's schizophrenic? And the guy's in there in the other room going, yeah, he's schizophrenic. Before I ever even get to see the fucking guy. Excuse me. And sits there, and so I go in knowing what the dude's trying to accomplish, right? And I sit there and I'm asking the dude at the end, like, so what are you saying? And he goes, well, listen, I just think you got serious problems. You just need to go into a mental institution. And I'm like, well, I'm just going to say, just don't talk about anything we've said in here, since that's my legal right. And he goes, oh, and he started getting all upset about it, and he's like, your dad's going to take it all away if we don't talk about it. And I'm like, well, we'll see, you know what I mean? But as far as everything's concerned, don't talk about it. So I get in there, and this dude sits down and literally just devastated. And the look on his face like he's devastated because he didn't get to fuck my life up. You know what I mean? And that's what I mean. That's who he is. He showed up at our business. First thing he did is my dad's adopted son and just started railing against him. And I mentioned the fact that he's adopted because he's really my cousin. I have a problem calling my cousin my brother. Okay? But either way, you know, the guy shows up. But the guy shows up, and first thing he does is go around the company, gathering up opinions that there's something wrong with this dude, and he needs to be removed from the business. Which, granted, the guy had a streak of, you know, favoring his son, and his son really did have those problems. But either way, you know, the point is the guy has an agenda. And then he goes around the company and gathers up a whole bunch of opinions that I didn't do anything I said that I did. And there's my name at the end of the credit sequence of videos that I'm saying I scripted and storyboarded. I didn't do any of it. They all said I didn't do it. And it just shows you what his angle is. He's showing up with an angle, with an agenda to get over on me. And honestly, it wouldn't bother me as much if I had my business going still. When I was 22, I was making $2,000 a month. What I'm screwed out about, pissed off about losing right now, a month, or $2,000 a week. What I'm pissed off about losing right now, a month. And it's probably just going to get around to me pissing and moaning about money sometimes because this does suck. This really sucks. And the other agent, the other complicitous loser individual is my mother's husband, who gets up at 5 o'clock in the morning and he goes to AA meetings so he can feel like he's good, you know what I mean? And that's really what the Bible's all about. You know, they're pointing the finger at Jesus Christ because he drinks, and they're good because they're sober. You know? And so now they all get together in public and they all hold their hands and they greet each other and they pray out loud. That's a picture of narcissism. That's exactly what he said. So the dude gets around here and follows me around this fucking house no matter where I go. The other day I didn't go upstairs till 12 noon. All morning I was downstairs. He was downstairs all morning. He didn't get up here till 5 minutes after I got up here. 5 minutes. Today, I walk into the room across the hall. He comes upstairs, sticks his head in the door, stares at me, asks me what am I, mentioned something about being in 2 rooms at once. That's what I hadn't told him. Sometimes people have come over my speakers in my room and started talking to me. And I don't like having computers around me anymore because I don't like feeling like I'm being listened to. And I said that's not something I really like talking about, you know. And but he drug it out of me so that he could follow me around and act like a miserable little prick. And that's what I've come to expect around here. And I've been here for 6 months now. Haven't been able to get out. Every time I get a job or something, he'll call my dad and tell him I have the job, and my dad will offer me another job. And then that job I'll be getting paid $50 a day, and the guy who's supposed to be training me won't answer his phone. So I made $50 my first week doing that. And you know, and I know he did it on purpose, you know, because I've already told the story. But you know, my mom sits there and goes, "Don't even tell your dad. He doesn't need to know." I said, "You know what? Screw it. I won't even tell him." So then, whenever he tells me, "Oh yeah, I know your dad was offering you a job. I don't know if he heard that you got a job or whatever." The first thing he always does is tells me, "Oh, that's nice. The fucking prick's been here for fucking 30 minutes." Anyways, I gotta get off because he's got me on eggshells around here. He's probably been up and down the stairs 10 fucking times listening to every fucking word I say. That's one of his shticks. Oh, that's beautiful. I don't even know if I care. Oh, it's paradise around here, dude. And this motherfucker. These imperious narcissistic pieces of shit are everywhere. And they're totally miserable. And they want to stand over you and have their head up your ass and know what you're doing all the time and always have it in your face. I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. I mean, these people are the picture of losers. They're the picture of losers. And I'm seriously stuck here with this piece of shit. This is a nightmare. This is a fucking nightmare. So, and so the dude gets with Jerry and tries to drop me off at a fucking mental institution. And then later on down, so I told you this is the guy who's with him. And then this guy sits there and goes, "Oh, I think Tanner's trying to warehouse himself." Use whatever kind of trick, fucking shithead fucking language he can use. I'm warehousing myself because I live in my own house. And oh man. I mean, I guess since I was in the house, I mean, I was making YouTube videos at the time, quite a bit of them. And not to say that, you know, that's the best in the world, but I mean, they got me away from that, didn't they? I mean, they got me over here underneath this motherfucker's shit, where he can harass me all day long and follow me around. And if I go down in the kitchen and, you know, need to make a phone call to see if I can try to find a job, he busies himself in the next room, you know what I mean? Just constantly, and won't leave it, you know what I mean? And just follows me around the house all day long. Like, he's happy to be like that. Like, I'm sitting here like, dude, I'm sick of your fucking face. You know what I'm saying? I'm sick of your face, you know? But this dude is so satisfied, you know? There's just satisfaction in it, you know what I mean? It's just to follow me around, you know what I mean? And harass me. You see what I'm saying? And follow me around. Like a stalk, yes, and stalk me, you know? And, and it's all out of just some unspoken narcissism of you know, I'm better than you, and oh, and I'm sober, and that's what, and literally that's what's going on. That's what's going on in his head, you know, and seriously, you know what I mean? I'm sober, and just like, dude, get the fuck away from me. I don't care if you're sober. You know what I mean? I don't care. Don't watch me outside when I'm smoking pot, and you know, and tell me that I'm supposed to care. You know, that you're watching me. You know, I mean, just, and I could hear him right now, because I made that noise. He's probably just come up the stairs. Let me see. You know, you're not better than me. You know what I mean? Because you don't. You know what I mean? That would be like saying I'm better than you because I drink a cup of coffee in the morning, or I don't drink a cup of coffee in the morning. I'm better than you. Oh. You know, I mean, and these motherfuckers, it really isn't that the government has tricked people into thinking that it's bad. They know it's not. But see, what it's done is just taken all the loser, narcissists, miserable creeps of the world, you know, and empowered them. And so that's what's going on, and they're satisfied. They feel good, you know what I mean? If they could stop me from getting a little bit attraction and headway in my life, they're happy. You know, that's what they need. That's what they need to get to sleep at night, is to screw somebody over, especially if you know what 2 + 2 is, especially. And because then you have purpose. You see what I mean? And that's enough to arouse vindictiveness alone. And you know, oh man, you just really can't believe it, but that's really true. And this is who they are. They're creeps and losers. And they sit around taking in propaganda all night, and they feel like they're party to it. You know what I mean? And just the feeling of being partisan. When I was back in marketing, we were doing this video to try to get, it's like a recruitment video, if you will, come in and be a part of the business. And one of the things that we would do is, at the end, this guy, he basically says, one of the things we really want to encapsulate here is the feeling of a family, you know. And he said people want to feel like they're part of something bigger than them, you know. And that's all you got to do is pretend like you're part of something bigger than you. You know what I mean? Or you're not the only creep on the block. Hell, there's 3. You know. Now you're part of something. You know. And that's all it takes. You know, it doesn't take much. You know. And it doesn't take much. And I swear to God, man, it's gonna be like Hell City around here, because the motherfuckers, it's like, the more subtle shit that you can do. I mean, the dude, I told him one night, I finally said, I had just gotten to a point where I was about to lose it, and I said, look, man, I said, I think I've been around you so long, I hate you. You know what I mean? That to me was the most kind, you know, way of putting the way I actually felt that I could come up with. And it wasn't even true, you know. To be honest with you, I think he's a narcissistic creep. You know what I mean? But how do you just tell somebody that? You know what I mean? I think you're a narcissistic creep. It's difficult because the conversation can't go anywhere from that point. All you've said is that you've got psychological problems, and there's really nothing that can be achieved at that point. You're talking to a liar. You know what I mean? You're talking to a person who habitually lies. You know? And And so, anyways, the very next day, the dude comes upstairs, and he usually would go into his office and shut the door. And that was the last time he ever did, was the evening that I said, I've been around you so long that I hate you. From that point on, he has left his door open. And he's going to leave his door open. You know? I mean, not only raising the temperature for upstairs up to 80 degrees, but putting the heat on. Repeatedly. It's like 73, 74 degrees outside. Too hot to leave the AC. Too hot to leave the AC, to have no AC. Okay, maybe keep it at 74 or 75, somewhere you can, you know, live. And too cold. And so, rather than just turn the air conditioner off, he turns the heat on. And this is what I'm up against, man. This is what I'm putting up with, you know? And this is what you people in the United States government have enslaved my ass, and to the point where my credit has been ruined and I have no means. And you've left me to nothing but a bunch of vicious lines. And here I am, almost 30 years old. These people could give a shit less if I get out of these fucking streets. And all they want to do is take away every last fucking nickel and penny that I got. And then fucking sit there and harass me because and just berate me while I'm without everything, you know? And the dude sat there and asked me, why don't you go on dates? You know what I mean? You just screwed me out of every last dollar that I had coming. And granted, I didn't have it coming, you know what I mean? But he was sure felt entitled to it, you know what I mean? And he sure felt, like I brought it up, you know, I have a hard time asking my dad for financial support to get my business going. And then he just started throwing it in my face, you know? Oh, you got problems, you know? Nobody gave me nothing, you know, and just... That's the kind of atmosphere that I've been dealing with for about the last 6 months, man. I'm coming up on 30, you know? And I haven't had enough money. I'm 29. Once you hit 30, it's a different thing. And, you know, I wanted to at least go on some dates or something. The dude sits there and asks me, you know, what kind of women do I like and stuff. And I'm like, dude, I don't have any money now to go on dates, bro. I'm broke. You know what I mean? I don't have nothing. You know what I mean? And then the prick sits there and asks me, you know, well, they gave you like $200 last week. And I'm like, and he's like, so all you do is smoke pot? Is that what it is? And I'm sitting here like, dude, $200 ain't a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? I could spend that in a whole lot of ways over a course of a week, you know? And just pretends that it's, I'm sober, you know? I mean, just pretends it's his business, You know? And then I sat there and just blew up. And I was like, bro, I drink beer. I smoke cigarettes. Why don't you do something besides give me a hard time about smoking pot and call my dad about me smoking pot? And then the motherfucker just got this big smile on his face and just started gloating in my face. Because that's what it's all about, man. You can't win. You know what I mean? We're sober, you know, and let me tell you, we're sober. And you know, and it's just like, dude, oh my God. You know, it's like you just fucked me, dude. I got nothing. You know what I mean? Out of your fucking narcissism, calling up my dad, telling him I'm smoking pot. I smoked pot with the fucking guy, so I can't even get the little bit of $800 I got, you know, left. A month is what I was getting, $800 a month. And it's just so satisfying. You know what I mean? It's just so satisfying. Oh. Because he was justified, guys. He was sober. You know what I mean? He's sober, guys. He's justified, guys. Ugh. All that crap, man. I can't even believe it, man. I can't believe what goes on around me. And that's it. I mean, at that point, really, it's like, I'm at a loss. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting here like, dude, I can't even say anything to you. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just like, I guess you can just say that. You know what I mean? Have you ever heard somebody like a motherfucker just screws them over and then they're just like, well, I guess if you can just do that, you know what I mean? I guess if you can just say that, you know what I'm saying? I guess if you can just be that, you know what I mean? And that's where I get to with him. You know what I mean? Because here he is, screwed me over out of every penny I got. And still it's not good enough because he's sober, guys. You see what I mean? And I'm the one who's screwing up because I'm not sober. You know what I mean? And if I could just get on some pills, that would really solve everything. That's another little discussion that goes on around here quite a bit. If I could just get on pills, then everything would just be fine if I was on pills. Well, no, everything's not going to be alright if I'm on pills. And it doesn't matter how many times I explain it. At all. You know, if I sit here and explain the fact that, you know, it's a revolving door at the top and the World Health Organization is subsidized by the pharmaceutical companies. Okay, at that point, all the recommendations coming to psychiatrists are subsidized, lobbied for recommendations, not real. Okay, and at the FDA, the head of the World Health Organization, and pharmaceutical company heads are all on a revolving door to see who can, you know, go in and out of office and have control of all this crap. And so we're all getting medical lobotomies out down here. And you can't really trust what's in the medicine. And so I'm trying to tell him, you can't really trust what's in the medicine. Because of that. He won't stop. He wants me to quit smoking pot. He doesn't even really care if I'm smoking pot or not. He just wants to screw with me over it. You know what I mean? Because it makes him feel powerful. So I got people in my own family jeopardizing my life, my financial well-being. I got people outside of my family coming in to jeopardize me. Literally. And the United States government. Every single time I get something going on, they sweep my feet out from underneath me and leave my credit in my life in shambles. And yet, they're better than I am. You see? And I'm supposed to sit here and feel like, I'm supposed to sit here and appreciate the fact that he's sober, guys. He's sober. You know? I mean, holy shit, bro. Is that really that great? You know what I mean? Is it really that good to be sober? Am I supposed to worship you for that? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I'm supposed to, guys. Because he's sober, guys. He gets up at 5 o'clock in the morning, guys. And he's just to be sober. know what I mean? Because I'm not. Do you understand how that works? So you just suck hind tit and get your life fucked over by your own family, where you have no dating life, you have no financial existence, you have no, you have nothing, you know what I mean? And they're going to take it. You know, they want you down and out. They want your entire, god damn, dude. They literally went after my relationship. It's like, stop the family line. I want my bloodline to stop. This is like what they're doing right now. And I bet they do, you know, because they are white trash, to be honest with you. My family is a bunch of white trash, straight from Oklahoma. The hell pit of white trash in the world, period. And I'd be willing to believe they really want to keep me down. You know what I mean? I think that no. They do. And, and seriously though, I believe it, because they literally got a hold of my girlfriend and talked all kind of trash about her about me while I was in jail. And so it's like, every last thing, man, it's all got to come apart. You know what I mean? It's all got to come apart for them, and they're going to feel good. You know, they could be in your family, you know. And here I am, literally beside myself over a bunch of crooks. And literally, these people have just drug away the very last few moments of youth that I had left. Within 6 months, I won't even be able to get into most dance clubs in the city, you know. And, you know, could have enjoyed this last year of my 20s just a little bit, you know. But they made sure, you know, because, by God, I probably got something wrong with me, guys. You know what I mean? By God, I need help. You know what I mean? I need somebody watching me all fucking day long. You know, because seriously, this motherfucker, this weasel coming into our family business who really wants to get a big piece of it. And I need to suffer for that. You know, I need to suffer. And, it's wonderful. For some narcissistic creep nobodies to even get a moment of my life away from me just makes me want to blow some fucking heads off. I'm not in a good place with this at all.